ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى أهله وصحبه ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. الحمد لله. Here's the second Nahu class for the day, and we have here Ad-Damiru al-Mustatiru. Ad-Damiru al-Mustatir, meaning the hidden pronoun. So what does this mean? Let's go. So the hidden pronoun. So a damir is said to be mustatir. Like we have treated a damirul munfasilu, meaning the detached pronoun, the pronoun that is detached. A damirul muttasilu, the attached pronoun, a damir that is visible and it is attached. And now we have a damiru al-mustatiru, the hidden pronoun. So a damir is said to be mustatir when it is the doer of the action, but not mentioned with the verb. Please get that. A damir is said to be mustatir when it's the doer of the action and it's not mentioned with the verb. So, masalan, example, jalasa. Jalasa means what? He sat. Abina, he sat. So, he in this context, is not written with the verb. So, therefore, the hidden pronoun not mentioned is what? Huwa. So that's what we called damir mustatir. Damir mustatir. So another thing. So in another word, a verb will contain damir mustatir. So when action performing pronouns, meaning damairu raf'i al-muttasila bil af'al, meaning the verb, the pronoun that are usually attached to the verb that are indicating it is the fa'il. You get the damir that are attached to fi'l that are indicating that it is the fa'il. If they are not attached to it, then and a visible, and again, so that's the first part. And a visible dua noun, yani ism zahir fa'il, is not mentioned after it. We are not seeing a fa'il mentioned after the verb, or we are not seeing that the verb has a damir attached to it that is indicating the fa'il. Masalan, if I say jalastu, we don't have any fa'il ismu written after it, but two in that context is what? That is the damir, it is the fa'il. So if you don't have the pronoun attached to it indicating is the fa'il, or we have a fa'il coming after it, so if you don't have both, then the verb we have a damir mustatir. So in this context now, jalasa, the damir mustatir is what? Is huwa. I hope you get. So what are those action performing pronouns? Meaning the pronouns that are actually attached to verb that are indicating they are the one doing the action. Aliful isnaini, wahul jama'ati, atta'ul mutaharrika, nunu niswati, na addallatu ala al-fa'il, then ya'ul mukhatabati. We have treated them in the last class where we said ad-damirul muttasil al-khassu bil-raf'i, meaning the attached pronoun that are peculiar to being in raf'un state. So all of them. So these are them. So when this is attached to at the end of the fa'il, it will be in raf'un state. This also, and yahul mukhataba also. So now let's see. So let's see an example to clarify this. So we have jalasa zaidun and zaidun jalasa. So in the context of jalasa zaidun, there's no damir mustatir here. Why? Because we have this zaid coming after this, and this zaid is what? Is the fa'il, is the doer of the action. So it cannot have damir mustatir. I hope you get. So another thing is zaidun jalasa. So what's the difference? The verb here jalasa will have damir mustatir because one, there is no action performing pronoun attached to the end of the fi'l. This jalasa, there's no damir, there's no pronoun attached to it. One, there's no visible action doer after it. We don't have anything after it. So in this context, this jalasa will have damir mustatir. I hope it's clear. So moving on. So for past tense verb, fi'l madi, it has two damir mustatir. It has there are two damir mustatir there, and they are what? Huwa and hiya, and they only exist in third person singular verb. Third person, meaning the third person singular. I hope you get, meaning the goib and gohiba for both male and female. Hope you get. So when we say, the table, when we say we ask us to form fi'l madi table, so in the first quadrant that we have jalasa and jalasat. So those two are the only one, or any fi'l that form in those category are the only one that will have the damir mustatir, and the damir mustatir are huwa and hiya. Now, so please note this. To think other damair, meaning other pronouns like nahnu, anta, hunna, hum are also damir mustatir, because we have huwa and hiya being damir mustatir. So to think that nahnu, anta, hunna, and hum are damir mustatir in fi'l madi is very wrong, because they are obvious. As for the case of huwa and hiya, they are not obvious, because that's why we call them damir mustatir. They are not obvious. So please take note of that. Now, so let's use jalasa and its derivative to clarify this thing for us. So the damir mustatir in jalasa is huwa, because we don't have any damir attached to the end of this verb, and there is no visible ismu coming after it to show that that is the fa'il. So in this context, jalasa has a damir mustatir and it is huwa. So in the case of jalasa, like we have from our table, jalasa, jalasa, jalasu, jalasat, jalasata, jalasna. You get jalasta, jalastum, jalastum, jalasti, jalastuma, jalastuma, jalastunna, jalastu, jalasna. So we said for jalasa, it has no damir mustatir. Why? It has this damir, visible damir attached to the end already, and that's aliful isnain. So this aliful isnain is defined in this context. I hope you get. So the same will be the case for all verbs having an action performing damir, meaning a damir attached to the end of the verb itself. A damir attached to the end of the verb itself. That is defined. That is the action performing pronoun. They are defined. So more like jalasna, this na is attached to the end. This is, you cannot have damir mustatir because we have a damir attached to the end of the fi'l already. We have jalasna. This is nunu niswa. We have jalastu. All this one, jalastu, jalasti, jalasta, jalastuma, jalastum, like that. All of them are tam taharika. They are attached to the end of the fi'l. So they are representing the fi'l. They do have the action. So it cannot have damir mustatir. I hope you get. Then we have jalasu also. This is wahul jama'ati. So it cannot have damir mustatir. I hope it's clear. Now, so the verb jalasat as damir mustatir, which is here. Why? Because we don't have any action performing damir attached to the end. So this thing that you have here, ta sukun, they call it ta'u tanis. Ta'u tanis. It is not a damir, rather it is just a sign to differentiate between a masculine third person verb from its feminine counterpart. So that's what ta'u tanis, ta of femininity. So it shows that the performer of the action is a feminine, is a female entity. I hope you get. So as such, ta'u tanis is not the agent. It's not the she here, because we have jalasat meaning she sat. Does not mean is the ta sukun that is she. No, it is here. It is hidden inside it, because this ta is just a sign of femininity. I hope it's clear. Now, so that's for madi. No, now for mudori, let's use yajlisu as our model. Using yajlisu as our model. So the first thing we should note that, or the first thing all students should note that ahruful mudara'a are not damir, because people do get carried away. They confuse it because it's the damir, the ahruf looks like they are the one doing the action. So they are not. They are ahruf. They are particles. That's why they call them particles of mudari. I hope you get. So the damir mustatir in yajlisu is huwa. Because why? So the two things you have to note before a verb can have damir mustatir, there are two things it should fulfill. One is that there is no action performing pronoun at the end that is showing it is the fa'il. One, or that we don't have ismun zohir, ismu fa'il zohir, like a visible ismu that is coming after the fi'l to indicate that is the fa'il also. So in these two cases, if we don't have a fi'l, a pronoun attached to the end of the fi'l itself, showing that is the fa'il, or we have an ismu coming after it showing that is the fa'il, then it will have the domir mustatir. So please note that. Now, so for yajlisu now, it has domir mustatir and it is huwa. So the domir mustatir in tajlisu can be here or anta, depending on the translation. You know, tajlis can mean she is sitting or you are sitting. So it depends on the context of the sentence that you determine that, okay, this is tajlisu and this is tajlisu, meaning she or you. I hope you get. So this one too, it has domir mustatir because it does not have any domir attached to the end of this fi'l. Where is the end of the fi'l? Sin. It does not have any domir attached to the end, and there is no ismun coming after it to indicate this is the fa'il. I hope you get. Now, so the domir mustatir in ajlisu is ana, because we don't have any domir attached to it, or is an ism coming after it, so it is ana. And then for najlisu, the domir mustatir is nahnu. I hope you get. So yajlisu, the domir mustatir is huwa. Tajlisu, it can either be here or anta, depending on the translation. Excuse me. Then the ajlisu, it will be, it is ana. The najlisu, it is nahnu. I hope you get. Now, so while there will be no domir mustatir in the following verbs, we have tajlisu, tajlisani, yajlisna, yajlisuna, yajlisani, tajlisna. Why? Because since they have action performing pronouns attached to their ends, you know, that's what I said. So we have wawul jama'a here, we have aliful isnain here, we have nunu niswa here, we have aliful isnain here, we have wawul jama'a here, we have nunu niswa here. So all of them are domir attached immediately at the end of the fi'l. So they are the action performing pronouns. They are the one performing the action. So you get, you know, tajlisuna meaning you all are sitting. Tajlisani, you two people are sitting. Tajlisna, you all females are sitting. Yajlisani, two masculine people are sitting. Yajlisuna, three masculine people are sitting. Then yajlisna, three or more females are sitting. So you can see, why do we know? Nunu iniswa, wawul jama. They are the action performing pronouns. I hope you get. So now let's move on to imperative, meaning fi'lul amri. So for fi'lul amru, we have that it contains domir mustatir for jalasa. The imperative of jalasa containing domir mustatir is only ijlis. You know, when we form domir fi'l amr from tajlis, it will be ijlis. So why is that? Because it has no action performing pronouns at the end, and so the domir mustatir is just anta. So it is only for this one. It is only for the mukotab, for the person you are facing, masculine. Only one. That is the only one that has domir mustatir, and it is anta. I hope you get. Now, so considering estimation, so considering takdir, so they usually say takdir, we are still going to check the note. So they call something takdir, meaning it's estimation. When we say something has domir mustatir, so it is estimated to be something. So it can come in two ways. So the domir mustatir are divided into two. Some can't be mentioned. They are termed wujuban, compulsorily. You have to hide the domir compulsorily. While it is choiceful, you can choose to mention some. So they are called jawazan. I hope you get. So we are still going to see that. So some domir mustatir can be hidden, so have to be hidden compulsorily, and some can be hidden by choice. You can hide it or you can show it. So now let's see. So if the domir mustatir can be substituted with ismun zohir, with no distortion, like you can replace that domir mustatir that you hid, that is hidden. If you can replace it with an ismu, and the sentence will still be correct. So that takdir, that estimation is called what? Jawazan, permissible, choiceful. I hope you get. So in this context, see now, jalasa, huwa. You know, this is, you can hide this. If you say jalasa, meaning is sat, you can hide it. But you can also show it. You can say jalasa huwa, it's still correct. So jalasa zaidun, you can see zaid sat, is correct also. Jalasat here, she sat, is still correct. Jalasat zainabu, it is still correct. However, so please, this one, all this one are jawazan, meaning choiceful. You can hide them or you can show them. So you can, this huwa, I can remove it. Can be jalasa. It still mean he sat. If I say jalasat, removing this here, it will still mean she sat, and I can just replace it with just jalasat Zainabu, jalasa Zaidun. The context is correct. Now, however, if the domir mustatir can't be substituted, then the takdir, the estimation is what? Wujuban, compulsorily. Compulsorily, you have to hide it. So let's see now. If I say ajilisu ana, is incorrect, very incorrect. Incorrect in the sense that I cannot replace this domir with saying ajilisu Zaidun. Even if you see now, even if your name is Zaid, you can't substitute it with ana in this context. The takdir of the domir mustatir of ajlis is what? Is ana. So you cannot replace it with Zaid as in the name, because it's wrong. Ajlis means, so I sat Zaid is incorrect. I hope you get. So therefore, huwa and here, the takdir of huwa and here, meaning their estimation, the takdir meaning hiding them or showing them, is jawaz, is permissible, is choiceful. You can hide them or show them. While for anta, for nahnu and ana, the takdir is wujuban, is compulsory. You have to hide them, you cannot show them. I hope you get. Now, so this is where we come to the end of the note. Now let's see. So we have ad-damir al-mustatir. So this is still our textbook, Nahul Wadi book 2. So damir al-mustatir. So let's quickly read the qaida. So what says the qaida? So the qaida says that ad-damir al-mustatir. So what we call damir al-mustatir, huwa damirun, it is a damiru ittasala bil fi'l, that is connected to the fi'l min ghayri an yazhara fil lafzi, and it is not shown visibly. It doesn't show visibly. I hope it's clear. So it's a domir. Like I said before, it is a domir, but it does not show when you mention it. It is not show. It is not visible to the eye. I hope it's clear. So that's one. So the second qaida says that ad-damirul mustatir. So damirul mustatir again, meaning the hidden pronoun fil fi'l al-madi. In fi'l al-madi taqdiruhu huwa aw hiya. So in fi'l al-madi, the damir mustatir there is estimated as huwa and hiya. Only huwa and hiya is damir mustatir in all of fi'l al-madi, like we did before. In all of fi'l al-madi, it's only huwa and hiya. For other ones, it is visible. They don't have damir mustatir. So for huwa, it is only for the third person masculine singular, and for here third person feminine singular. As for third person masculine dual, like that, second person, first person, all of them, they are visible. But in Mahdi, only third person masculine singular and third person feminine singular have their takdir, have damir mustatir, and they are huwa and here. I hope that's clear. Now, so we have ad-damirul mustatiru fil mudari'. So as for damir mustatir in mudari', meaning the hidden pronoun in mudari', يختلف تقديره باختلاف حروف المضارعة. So the damir mustatir in fi'l mudari varies باختلاف حروف المضارعة, depending on the harf al-mudari' involved, meaning the particle that is showing this is mudari, depending on the particle involved. So the damir mustatir varies also. You can't say just this, so it varies. So at damir mustatir fi fi'l al-amri. So as for fi'l al-amr, meaning the imperative verb, the damir mustatir taqdiruhu anta da'iman. So for fi'l al-mudari, the only one we have is for anta. We don't have for antuma, we don't have for antum, we don't have for anti, we don't have for antuma, we don't have for antunna. It's only for anta. When it's for anta, meaning just second person masculine singular, that is the only one we have damir mustatir for. I hope it's clear. So ad-damir mustatir fil fi'l amr taqdiruhu anta. So its estimation is only for anta, da'iman, always. Now, so let's look at examples so as to be able to get all this. So the first example says al-jamalu baraka. Al-what? al-jamalu baraka. Excuse me. So the camel knelt. The camel knelt down. Baraka. So don't confuse it. So people usually confuse this word baraka. There are many. So we have barakatun, meaning blessing. That's the name of a person. Or baraka. Allahu barakallahu fi. So this baraka meaning knelt down. Al jamalu baraka. The camel knelt. So quickly. So this baraka now. This is a fi'l madi. Okay. So how do we know the damir mustatir? So the damir mustatir for this is huwa, because it is masculine, third person, singular. So because how do we know? Two things. There is no damir, action performing pronoun attached to the end, one, and there is no ism coming after it to indicate that is the doer of the action, because this is jamalu, is not here, it is here. So this cannot be called the doer of the action. The doer of the action defined has to be after the fi'l. So in this context we don't have it. So this baraka is as damir mustatir, and the damir mustatir is what? Huwa. I hope it's clear. So moving on. Al-hamamatu gorrodat. The dove bird sang. So gorrodat here also, the damir mustatir is what? Is here, because this is third person, feminine, singular. I hope it's clear. So uridu an tajtahida. I want that you should be hardworking. I want you to be hardworking. So we have two things here. We have uridu, we have tajtahida. Uridu is the fi'l mudari, and we said for uridu. So with this harful mudara, So uridu, the damir mustatir is what? Ana. So you can't show it. It's compulsory. You have to hide it. Then tajtahida also, the damir mustatir is what? Anta. You have to hide it compulsorily. I cannot say uridu ana an tajtahida anta. Is incorrect. You have to hide it. I hope you get. So that's that. So we have what again here? We have innana nuhibbu najahaka. Verily we love your success. So what do we have here? We have this fi'l mudari. This fi'l mudari. This is just an ism. So we have nuhibbu. The alful mudara is known, and we said when the alful mudara is known, it represents nahnu. So the damir mustatir in this context is what? Is nahnu. I hope you get. Now, so it is compulsory. You have to hide it. So al-kalbu yambahu. The dog is barking. So here also we have another fi'l mudari, and the harful mudara is ya. So for ya, the damir mustatir is what? Is huwa. So here also it is having damir mustatir. Why? We don't have any action performing pronoun attached to it, or any other ism coming after it to indicate that is the doer of the action. Because this is different, we have to have the doer of the action. The doer of the action is in this context is what? Is damir mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. So I hope you get. So if you were to do the i'rab of this yambahu, or all these ones that have damir mustatir. So yambahu fi'lun mudari'un marfu'un bidammatin zahiratin wa fa'iluhu, and defines what? Damirun mustatir. Define is an hidden pronoun. Takudiruhu. The estimation is what? Is huwa, because this is third person masculine singular. So we have al-bintu tuhsinu tabkha. The girl is doing the cooking very well. Is perfecting or is doing the cooking very well. So we have tuhsinu. So this ta, and we said when we have ta, so it can either be the damir mustatir, can either be hiya or anta. So in this context, we know it is here, because we are talking about the girl here. So this one also, the damir mustatir is what? Is here, and it is permissible. It is choice. You can show it, or you can leave it. So azimul kabira, glorify the greatest, meaning Allah. Glorify the greatest. So we have azim. This is a fi'l al-amr. So fi'l al-amr, we said in fi'l al-amr, the only taqdir we have there is anta. The only damir mustatir we have there is anta. That means when you are doing fi'l al-amr for second person masculine, the person you are facing that is masculine. So in this context, azim is as domir mustatir, and the domir mustatir is what is anta wujuban. You have to hide it, you cannot show it. So nazif, another one, nazif hida'ak, nazif hida'ak, clean your shoe or clean your footwear. So this one too is more like this. So this is a fi'l amru. It is for a second person masculine singular, and the domir mustatir is anta. I hope we get. So that is domir mustatir for. So let's endeavor to the note will be shared in the comment section, so we can check that out. So let's just quickly see this. He said ahfazul jamila. So see, now we have this fi'l mudari, we have ahfaz fi'l mudari marfu' bi dammatin zahiratin wa fa'iluhu damirun mustatir taqdiruhu ana. Ahfazul jamila, I'm protecting the beautiful person. I hope you get. So nam, so that is an example for. So you see alful mudara, it is alif. So when it is alif, it is representing ana. When it is known, it is representing nahnu. When it is ya, it is representing huwa. So that is where we are going to stop for today's class, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it more comprehensive than it has been said. Subhanakallah bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum.